Wherever there's an episodic series, you can bet two men will talk to you. AJ Talon and Owen Finch give their thoughts on Owen and AJ Talks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Owen and AJ Talks. I'm Owen Finch, and I'm here with...
Trying to get the thumbs up symbol to come up, AJ Talon. And today, we are back for a really, really good episode of YellowJackets. Love to see it. It is Season 3, Episode 4, 12 Angry Girls and 1 Drunk Travis. This episode's title and premise are inspired by the movie 12 Angry Men.
It's like, was Travis drunk doing all this then? Because that's where this comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Travis doesn't fucking talk until the very end. So that was kind of a weird title.
Yeah, he doesn't really... Obviously, they wanted to, because this is, like you said, inspired by the film 12 Angry Men, and we'll get into, what the inspiration is if you haven't seen the episode. But, yeah, I never really read the title. I always read the 12 Angry Girls. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then I read when you just said the 1 drunk Travis, I'm like, wait, Travis was drunk? I was just kind of did Travis... Because Travis didn't say anything, like you said, until, the last scene. So, was he... I'm keeping that canon that Travis was just drunk the whole episode then, I guess. Then, just slurring over his words.
We have finally got an official count. There are 12 YellowJackets. So let's do a head count, shall we? Before we get the wiki stuff.
So yeah, we have Shauna.
Natalie, Misty, Thaisa, Van.
Ben.
Well, no, Ben doesn't count because it's 12 Angry Girls.
Oh, okay. That random girl that hasn't talked yet that just showed up this season.
Okay. Backwards Cap Girl.
Recast.
Jen. Recast Girl.
That's it.
So there's 3 unnamed YellowJackets
That we haven't seen yet.
besides the one that we're including that is also unnamed.
Yeah, but we've seen her. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, unless we're missing anybody, but for now, I think our head count is 9.
Yeah, because like I said, then 3 more. Because obviously, based on this title, they can't be counting anyone that died. Because there was...
Yeah, probably it's the members of the jury, or including Misty and Natalie.
Yeah.
So Owen, we did it. We finally got a head count for who the fuck's out there. Halfway through Season 3.
Took them long enough. It seems like Season 3 is just answering a lot of our criticisms, it seems like, as we talked about the last video.
Yeah, I know. They looked into the future and saw our video specifically.
Yeah. But yeah, let's do the wiki stuff. We did the episode title, we did the episode numbers and everything like that. This was directed by Jennifer Morrison. I think we've talked about her before. She's done a lot of the YellowJackets stuff and everything like that. She directed a film called Sundogs back in 2017, and she directed a few episodes of How I Met Your Mother and some Star Trek stuff, AJ, so you probably heard of her before. So
I actually have not seen Star Trek, Owen.
I'm actually shocked. I figured that would have been your jam, so...
Yeah, I'm interested in it, but I have not started it. This
was written by Julie Bicknell and Terry Weasley. No wikis, so I'm cool with these writers as we talked about because we got a pretty damn good writer episode. I will say though, I'm watching the writing for the next episode because if it's Ben's death episode, the certain people better be writing that episode. So just saying. Then the cinematography was done by Michael Wally or Whale. I don't know how to say it, but then the editing was done by Genevieve Butler. And now, AJ, unfortunately for you, you probably would have known this air date, but obviously we haven't done YellowJackets in 3 weeks, so your thing's all messed up.
Remember, February 14th, Valentine's Day, for episode 1. I think episode 2 didn't air a week later. That's what's fucking me up. It aired. I think it aired also February 14th. So episode 3 was the 21st. So I think this one aired on the 19th.
So
I mean, not the 19th.
I think
Yeah,
they
29th.
I think they took a couple. I think they took a couple weeks off because according to the wiki, it says March 2nd, 2025. So they might have taken a couple weeks off.
I mean, I was pretty close, so I said February 29th. So I was like, yeah, like 3 days off or something. Like, okay, that's
maybe I'll give it to you because again, I think Wikipedia does like when it aired for everybody order, if you remember. Like so I'll just
okay. I'm probably thinking of like the Showtime first or whatever. Like it comes out a couple days early.
yeah, so I'm gonna give it to you February 29th.
Yeah, I'll get half a point. I'm cool with that.
Well, actually, I might not be able to give it to you because was there a February 29th this year? Because isn't that the day that like sometimes doesn't exist?
Right. I think there might not have been. I think I just said an imaginary date.
Yeah, there was no February. It might be 28th. There's no. Should I give it? Should I be nice and give it to you, and not be that asshole? The fact that like you said
I just came up with a non-existent date. You know, I might as well have just said bleep blop the 3rd.
So, do you want me to be nice and give it to you, or just be an asshole? It's up to you.
Nah, that's being an asshole. I deserve it. He even over like, no, Owen, treat him like shit. Don't give it to him.
I love the fact.
Think you have things about YellowJackets.
You know what the funny thing is? If I didn't keep talking, I would have been like, oh wait a minute, because I forgot the because sometimes it's not a February 29th, and sometimes it was like, do we have a leap year this year type of thing?
Totally forgot about leap year. Damn.
Yeah. Well, it's next year now. We'll have a leap year and everything like that, and they won't release it on the leap year next year if YellowJackets comes back type of thing. So,
fuck me over.
But yeah, let's just get right into this. We're gonna switch it up this time because last video AJ talked about the past and I talked about the present. This year is gonna be a role reversal of that because one, this is good for AJ because if Ben dies next episode, he'll get to talk about his death and you know but it's really weird. The guy that just had like his wisdom teeth taken out. I mean, he's recovered now. He's got to do
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna do like 90% of the talking, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's great. But let's just get into it. We see, you know, it's the next day. You know, it's been morning because last episode they just captured Ben and it was nighttime. And obviously this is pretty consistent because if you remember the last episode when Maury came back, it was daytime, and then they had to go find like, you know, Ben's cave and everything like that, and it was nighttime. Obviously it took them a while to find it, but still, now we kind of get like a sense that it takes, you know, about all night to get to Ben's cave to begin with. So I like that consistency type of thing where they've kept that consistent. Now, obviously, I could question, you know, I'm okay with doing a time jump here because, again, it was only one night. But again, you know, we've done a lot of time jumps here. We're losing a lot of daylight when it comes to these shows. But whatever. It's like, you know, when you're late for your doctor's appointment. You're already 15 minutes late. Why not just make it 20? So,
yeah, fuck it at that point, yeah.
But, I like this, you know, this is kind of, you know, we get like kind of the first couple of chances to get Van, Lee Casco, #1, and Shauna's thoughts on the dream sequence they had the last episode. And obviously, Lee Casco, #1's really the only one really started the conversation, which is like, we're not really going to talk about what we saw. Van doesn't really chime in much on it, but Shauna just is like, look, on a scale from like a dream sequence, that was probably like a 6. Like, that wasn't anything too weird that we gone through type of thing. And
so, okay, my thing is, so they were all having separate dreams, but then it's implied they were like sharing a dream at the end in like the classroom.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if like they remember that, you know? If they're all like, okay, we shared a dream, that's weird, you know?
Yeah, so that'd be interesting. You know, Casco #1 like wants to know what the meaning of that is, and Shauna just is like, look, just avoid that cave at all costs, you know, because obviously this, I like the fact that it's 50-50. Was that supernatural? Was that because they were all inhaling that gas type of thing, so they were all hallucinating? So
they're all having a fucking wilderness juice, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but you know, again, we're back at like the good wilderness. Last week we took a visit to like the really like, you know, awful wilderness.
Yeah, we took up to, like, this wilderness is like fucked up older brother.
So, you know, doing all this, we find out that, I mean, we kind of knew this, but this kind of confirmed it, that Lottie and Travis I knew Travis didn't go, but I didn't know Lottie didn't go. I thought I guess Lottie was too worried what was going on with the wilderness stuff. But you know, this is a really cool shot. You know, Ben gets to kind of hobble up, and he gets to kind of see like the community that you know, the YellowJackets crew have built and everything like that, which is really good because this ties into his speech later. So you know, you get like kind of this really cool music plays that's like peaceful, but also like questioning like what's going to be Ben's fate. He gets to kind of like look on because again he hasn't seen what the YellowJackets have built yet, type of thing. This is really cool because the actor like said like this was the first time he saw like this set, so it was really cool. Like he actually got like an authentic feeling of it and everything like that, which is pretty cool.
Probably helped him get in the character, yeah.
And you know, they finally get back, and Shauna's just kind of like, okay, well, he's back now. Like, what are we gonna do with him? Type of thing. Like, we have to like deal with him now. Like, type of thing. You know, he tried to burn us down. We should like take care of him. And obviously, like Natalie doesn't want to really take care of him, considering the fact that, you know, it's not really. You know, they don't really have any proof that he even burned the cabin down or anything like that. So they're saying, like, he should get a chance to, like, you know, tell his side of the story. We should, like, hear him out. So Natalie decides to have a trial, which is...
Well, sorry, I like how Natalie's, like, being like, okay, you know, he might be innocent, you know, we gotta, like, let him hear his side. And Lottie is actually the only other one who wants to give him a trial, but not because he might be innocent or whatever, just because, you know, again, she's been talking to fucking trees and acorns and shit. And she's like, no. It's the acorns must decide if he lives or dies, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, they decided to put him on trial, and I like this, you know, it kind of set the tone for the rest of the episode. This was kind of cool because, like I said, we figured, like, this episode, they would decide what to do with Ben. And I feel like this was a better way than having, like, each character, like, one-on-one have a conversation with them. This way Ben could talk to the whole group, and it wasn't, you know... it gave everyone, in, like, at the, you know, at camp, like, a reason to be on screen, even, like, background characters, because they were all going to decide, like, Ben's fate and everything like that, which was pretty cool.
Which is cool. And, something I think I criticized about the show before is kind of like they'll just have the main characters doing their own little plots, and like they will like very rarely interject. Something I'm liking a lot more about this season, even in the present, is like the main characters their plots are kind of like intersecting a lot more. Like I like how this Ben trial is like a thing for everybody. Like, you know, it's not just like the main characters are like doing their own thing. Like they're all kind of coming together for this.
And then, you know, this is our first chance we get to see Natalie really be a leader, because we haven't really seen that yet, because again, they did a time jump, and then
well, we got a little bit of it in episode 1, but yeah, this is like since then.
Yeah. Then it cuts to the intro, and then it comes back. They're getting ready for the trial. They set up, like a bench for the jury to sit in. They decide to make it 2/3 instead of majority rules, considering the fact that, not a lot of people are going to agree. And instead of making it majority rules, it would really be forcing everyone's hand to try to get everyone to agree. So I think Natalie was pretty fair there. But then they kind of decided...
Although I was going to say, this ends up backfiring.
Oh, yeah, but we'll talk about that later. They have to decide, though, like, because Ben needs a fair trial, they have to decide who's going to defend Ben, because we find out that Thais is going to be the prosecutor. Who's going to defend Ben? And they look at Misty, and they give kind of a good reason, because Misty had a crush on him and thought he was his boyfriend, but obviously Misty's kind of still heartbroken that Ben disappeared and thinks she burned down the cabin, and Natalie kind of has to, like, reason with Misty and be like, look, like, Ben deserves a fair trial, and you're the one that can give him that. Like, you don't want an innocent man to just, die for no reason. So this kind of convinces Misty to do it, but she's like, kind of doing it forcefully at first. She doesn't really seem to want to do this. I would like this, you're getting, like, everyone's thoughts about how they feel about Ben. So, I enjoyed this. And then, Misty goes to talk to Ben, and, they're keeping Ben, like, in the gate with the ducks. I guess to, he doesn't get his own hut or anything like that. Kind of shows what they feel about him. The fact that, like, he's in the same viewing as the Ducks, where like they think he's not really much of a person anymore, which kind of sucks. But whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if they end up like eating him, it's like it's gonna be kind of fucked up. Like in hindsight, like they're essentially treating him like all the other livestock.
Yeah. And Misty bitch slaps the hell out of Ben, and the actress did a really good job here. I don't really think we talked about it, but the Sam Hamratty, the actress that plays Misty, always seems to nail her role. When she has to get like wicked upset, she really seems to nail that and everything like that. And again, she's also around Ben right now, so it helps. But
I know being around Ben makes everybody else better actors.
And she's just going off on Ben, being like, "How dare you set fire to the cabin? Like after I took care of you and nursed you back to health and made you so that way you didn't kill yourself." And Ben even says like, "Look, I didn't burn down the cabin." But he even knows like this trial is like a farce. Like they're gonna go through this whole trial, and he's just gonna get found guilty. No one's really gonna believe him. I hate to say this, I hate to make this comparison, but it's true. It's back during the Civil Rights Movement when African American would go on trial, and it would just basically be a farce. They would just get found guilty anyways, type of thing.
Yeah, I was thinking of To Kill a Mockingbird. With that whole thing.
I remember in school I asked that question, like, because I'm like, well, what's the point of doing this trial? Because the guy's just going to get found guilty. And they had to explain to me, like, well, they have to do this for, the thing, because it's required type of thing.
Well, obviously they didn't, yeah.
But yeah, I like this where Ben, doesn't really feel all that hopeful about this trial. And, Misty even like says, tries to get Ben to prove that he didn't burn the cabin down. And obviously, there's no way for Ben to prove this because again, it's the summer now. There's really no way to prove this. There's nothing that Ben could like show at the moment that he could do it. But Ben even like says like, if I burn the cabin down, like,
well, it's also like again of like prove I didn't do it. Like the only way to do that would be to find who actually did it.
Yeah. So, Misty says, like, I'm going to prove that this trial isn't a farce, and we're going to win this trial together. And I like this. This kind of gets Misty on Ben's side. And I think this, at this point, Misty, I think, throughout the trial, I think she becomes kind of 50-50. But I think, she was pretty sold that Ben, like, didn't burn the cabin down, which was good. I like the fact that,
Right. He's pretty certain of it, but I think Ben made a good point of, like, he believes 100% this trial is bullshit. And, like, he doesn't really have a reason to lie at this point.
Yeah.
And also, again, I do like that, because, before it seemed like Ben just, like, didn't like Misty at all. But when she's, like, crying and saying, like, how, like, she feels betrayed, because, like, she did, like, a lot to try to keep him alive. And I like that Ben, like, is just, like, he doesn't sound like he's lying. He sounds, like, kind of just, like, so done. But he's just like when he says like I wouldn't do anything to hurt you, Misty. I like that.
Yeah. I would say this though, if it came for Ben's defense, you and I totally would have like gone for it. We've been pretty big advocates for Ben. We would have totally.
I last time me and you would be like fighting to like fucking defend Ben.
And honestly, too, I mean, again, because some of the reasons we have, like, the characters haven't even, like, seen, but, like, we could point out, like, oh, yeah, like, who taught you to hunt? Didn't Ben teach you guys to like, hunt? What about Taisu could point out, like, how were you able to, like, find all the places you were sleepwalking? Who was making those, like, maps that, like, were able to help you, like, find that type of thing?
I know, and just been carrying these guys with one leg tied behind his back, and then this is how they treat him.
Yeah. There's another one that I'm forgetting at the moment, but it's a pretty big one. Kind of a thing unrelated to the Ben thing, though. We see Weecast go number one. She feels like Lottie's holding out on that wilderness. She's like, you're holding on to this wilderness. You need to, like, stop. Like, I want some of that wilderness. Give me some of that. Give me some of that. Give me some of that type of thing.
Hey Lottie, I heard you got to hook up on some good old wilderness.
I mean, I mean, that pretty much was what the scene was. I make it as a joke, but no, like, obviously, because she just went through this big dream sequence. She, like, wants to get to the bottom of it now, so she's ready to, like, go back to doing some experiments and everything like that, so.
Yeah, so this is another thing. I'm kind of surprised with what they're doing with it, because when Travis said, like, the wilderness didn't want him, it wants Recast Girl, I thought he was just bullshitting to get Lottie away from him. But it seems like the wilderness actually is, like, speaking to Recast Girl.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, Travis is, like, drawing fucking creepy-ass pictures.
He's also...
So it makes me think that he, like... It's weird. So, like, I thought he was bullshitting, but it seems like he was telling the truth.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Again, we really can't say anything more about that. I guess maybe Travis...
Travis is playing a fucking hobby and, like, barely speaking or showing up. Like, Travis isn't talking at all this episode until the very end, where he says something cryptic and fucking walks away. So I can't really make heads or tails of what's going on with Travis right now.
As normal Travis behavior, so...
Congratulations, Mari, again. You've been bumped up above Travis.
I mean, I'm going to point this out, you know, it can't all be perfect, you know, there's got to be some carryover from seasons 2. I think all the problems with season 2 that's continued have just stayed with Travis. Travis just can't get over it, type of thing, so,
yeah, again, not really, this episode's, like, big. Again, it's not a very big critique of this episode. Travis is barely in it. You know, and it makes sense. He wasn't a big focus. But yeah, I just want to say that I am kind of not liking what they're doing with him. And also, we got a couple scenes with him and Ben in seasons 1 and 2, so I kind of wish we got a little bit between Travis and Ben. You know, maybe have them talk a little bit.
Yeah, because they're the only guys that are, like, there, so it would have been kind of cool to get something.
Yeah, and again, Ben was kind of giving relationship advice to him and Natalie and stuff. You know, and, like, Travis was kind of checking on Ben when after they ate Jackie, and Ben was, like, obviously, like, traumatized.
Yeah. I will say this is concerning though, because you know whatever this Ben plot wraps up, it's gonna wrap up soon. If this is gonna be like if the Travis thing's gonna be like one of the next follow up things, that's not very good. Post storyline, Ben dying type of thing, or whatever happens.
Right. So again, I'm just curious what they're gonna do, with Travis. And again, it's not this episode's fault, but it is making me a little worried about, like you said, like what's gonna happen after this whole Ben thing wraps up.
But let's enough of all that. That's enough. Like, let's just get back to the good stuff. Like, yeah, we have the beginning of the trial. They do a really good job setting up the trial, make it look like it's like an actual trial. Where you know, like I said, the bench. Some of the characters are wearing like robes, like a jury would wear and everything like that. Mainly the prosecutor, which is Thaisa, Misty. They really went all out for Natalie. This is the first time we've seen one of the characters actually like wear the antlers as the Antler Queen type of thing. Obviously, we've seen it before in mysterious ways, but this is the first time we've seen one of the actual characters in the show wear it, which was pretty cool. And she's really the one dressed up like a judge. She has a nice gavel. Don't know where she got it, but it looks like they made it, I think. But
I always keep that on my plane carry-out luggage, you know, whenever I'm going to a fucking soccer tournament.
Sure.
You know, but you never know when you might need a gavel.
Yeah. The trial begins. And the first person they call to the stand is Molly. I like this because Molly's really surprised. She was like the first one called, and she didn't really expect to get called because she goes like, "Oh shit," which was a pretty funny Molly thing. And Molly's testimony was really good. Thaisa asked her, what it was like to be held captive. And, I will say that the trial, some of it you have to see because you have to see it to get, like, the tone of the trial. I'm not going to go through, like, word for word. I'll kind of just talk about the testimonies.
I'm going to say, like, I like how, like, again, they're, like, the Antler Queen thing when Natalie comes out is kind of played as, like, an epic oh shit. Yeah. But then it's kind of like this is a very kind of like pathetic and sad trial. Where like again, like Maury goes up and then like we're like, oh yeah, shit, we forgot to like swear her in, and like we don't really have like a Bible. I guess we'll just use this like deck of cards.
Right.
And obviously, to, like understand all the rules like a little bit later. Thaisa's like, I want to do a redirect. And Natalie's like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so they have some. I like that they put some comedy in it, but it was largely like depressing.
Well, yeah, comedy, but it also played a good like story role of just showing how like Ben was right. This trial is like bullshit.
And again, too, it's also like these are teenage girls like doing this. The only real thing.
And they vague understanding of the court system. They don't actually like. Which I think that would be weirder if they were able to pull off a fucking perfect trial. You know?
Yeah.
Like again, it's just showing these are just kids kind of doing the best they can essentially.
But Molly talks about Thaisa mentions that how Molly went through a traumatic experience being kidnapped by Ben, and Misty like offers of objection, and Natalie actually sustains it because again that could just be an opinion, because Thaisa wasn't like there, and obviously Thaisa keeps asking her, and Molly mentions that Ben forced her to eat bats. He was talking to himself like it was. She mentions that it was a dramatic experience, and the reason that Ben was keeping her captive was so that way, she couldn't come back here. Obviously, she left out the fact that the only reason Ben was doing that was so that way, like Ben, they wouldn't know Ben was alive. But she kind of said like, well, she said like she thought he was guilty of something type of thing. But then when Misty comes up to question him, and again, these scenes are also interrupted by whatever's going on in the present, so I'm pretty sure, like, but with Molly's scene, what was really cool was the camera did, like, a 360, and, like, you saw, like, on Molly's left was, Misty, so, like, show that, like, it's changed the dynamics and everything like that, which is really cool.
Well, yeah, like, for example, like a scene where Misty and Shauna are talking present day cuts to them, like, in the past.
Yeah.
And then same Lottie's like talking in the mirror, present day, and then it cuts to Lottie on, giving her testimony. So, a lot of good cutting back and forth in this episode.
Yeah. So Misty's also questioning Molly, and Misty, Molly even mentions, that if Ben really wanted to kill her, he could have killed her at any time in the tunnel. And also mentioned you could have just left her in the pit. He mentioned, that he actually got her out of the pit, and yeah, he may have kidnapped her, but he could have killed Molly at any time, and mentioned, that he took care of her pretty well. And he's like, does that sound like a murderer? And I really like this because Molly, wasn't enough to really make people like in favor of Ben. She was kind of like the 50-50 role, which I really like. So I like the fact that Molly was the first one that got to do a testimony. It made sense because that was like the recent one, and it gave the tone of what the trial was going to be like. And then the next person to do a testimony is what do you think of Molly's testimony? I guess I'll just talk about each testimony one by one. You can just chime in with your thoughts. What do you think of Molly's? I really liked Molly's. It was I feel like too, with Molly's testimony, like maybe in the beginning she was buying he burned down the cabin, but then like at the end when she kind of like had to say like no, Ben didn't kill her, like a lot of Molly's testimony, like maybe she was like 50-50 on it. Then like once her testimony was over, she was like pretty convinced like Ben didn't burn the cabin down, which was really good too.
Yeah. So yeah, it is interesting because again, she was kind of hesitating to like sell out Ben earlier, like 2 episodes ago. So again, like you said, I think she was kind of at the start she seemed pretty dead set, which is kind of surprising since she was kind of hesitating before. But yeah, this time she seemed pretty dead set on it. Like she was like agreeing with Thaisa, like yes, I would describe being with Ben as very traumatic. And yeah, like you said, like he forced me to eat bats, and he was like talking to like voices in his head. But yeah, I think Misty did a good job of like kind of calming Maury down, because I get why Maury was so upset, because like she said, from her POV it was very traumatic. But like Misty kind of got her to see stuff from like Ben's point of view of like he could have just left you in the pit, but he didn't. He got you out, and also like he could have just killed you, but he like took you prisoner instead. Like he could have just killed you at any point, but he didn't.
Yeah. I guess something I kind of ignored, I want to make sure I say, is this is the first time you got Thaisa's feelings doing all of this, because obviously we mentioned in the last episode, we didn't really know what Thaisa's feelings were. We knew Van was dead set against Ben, Shauna was dead set against Ben, Misty, we didn't really know, obviously now we do, Natalie, we knew, but like Thaisa, this is like the first time in you're getting like her feelings of like how she feels about whether or not Ben burned the cabin down.
She's the one leading the charge against Ben, so I'm like, oh, it's kind of a surprise because yeah, she was one of the only characters' thoughts we didn't get before. I also like that Misty's approach isn't essentially to prove that Ben didn't do it, but rather to prove that like he isn't the only suspect, I guess is the way to put it. Like Misty knows she cannot prove 100% Ben didn't do it, and that nobody would fully believe that. But she's again kind of just trying to show that like other people could have motivations and to convict Ben guilty when like all they have is maybes is like incorrect, you know?
I feel like the biggest thing too is to kind of make other people like see like this, this shit, like you said, but like don't just fully assume that Ben did it type of thing. Like,
oh yeah, again, I don't think she could fully prove that he didn't do it, but rather again just casting doubt and showing people that like, you're just making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, but one thing I do like about this trial, actually, because this was a big Misty critique we had in the present, is Misty's actually, like, using facts that, like, don't seem like bullshit. She's like, because don't forget in the present, like, that's the whole reason fucking Jeff gets caused the blackmail. She just pulled something out of her ass. Like, all of the facts.
Yeah, connected a bunch of dots that, like, she reasonably should not have been able to connect.
So, yeah.
But, like, it all seems pretty logical. Like, from her point of view, I get how she reached her conclusions. I will say, last episode, Ben was the one who pulled Shauna, Recast Girl, and Van out of, like, the fucking wilderness weed. So, like, I'm kind of surprised that wasn't brought up. Because, again, a big point Misty was bringing up is that, like, Ben saved Maury from the pit and, like, he took her prisoner, but he didn't kill her. So, to, like, paint him as, like, somebody who wouldn't burn the cabin down.
Yeah, that would have been nice if that would have been.
He brought up the fact that Ben, when they came into his cave to try and capture him and kill him, Ben still went out and saved 3 of them, you know?
Yeah. And that fucked him over at the end, too, so...
So, like, it's weird that, like, nobody brought that up.
Yeah, I would have liked that. But then it's time for Shauna to give a testimony, and, Shauna talks about how, Misty's asking, Thais is first, because Thais is always first, I always forget that, but Thais is asking Shauna, about, like... No, actually, I think Misty is first this time, actually. Misty's asking Shauna, like, why she was up the night of the fire, which actually is a good point we didn't really think of before. But, like, yeah, we saw that she was, like, journaling, and I guess, but, like, the fact that Shauna was up later than everybody else, she had every reason to point out, to win the fire. Mentions it was the same night when Natalie got sworn in as Antler Queen, and, obviously... this is kind of cool, that, like, the characters noticed it, that obviously Shauna wanted to be the one to be Antler Queen, because obviously, again, when, Shauna was supposed to go up and, like, give a bow and everything like that, it's not much of a bow, and she had, like, a look on her face, like, she wanted to be Antler Queen, and Misty mentioned, that you're the one that really does the most out of everybody here, well, except Ben, but, so,
yeah, I know, right?
But
imagine Misty actually said that. Like, besides fucking Ben, you're like a close second, I guess.
But she mentions that she's the one.
And to be fair, I actually said that last season when like Maury was like giving Ben shit, and we're like, fucking Natalie, Ben, and Travis are the only ones fucking doing anything. Shauna has an excuse. Nobody else does.
But she mentioned, that Shauna was the one that like cut up Harvey when nobody else could. She mentioned, that Shauna, like, has gone through so much trauma and stuff. Maybe she's the only one that's viable to be Antler Queen. So that would give Shauna, like, reasoning to burn down the cabin. And again, I like it. It's obviously Shauna probably didn't burn down the cabin, but I do like that they're making that doubt to everyone else, like you've said. And Shauna said that she didn't burn the cabin down because, like, she said, why would I burn the cabin down? Because then I would have burned myself down, type of thing. And I like Misty's response where she mentions, like, yeah, but you were the one that warned us about the fire, so you could have set fire to the cabin to, like, so that way you could, like, save everybody and everything like that. Which, honestly, sounds like I could see Shauna doing that type of thing. So,
Yeah, I'm really hoping we actually get to find out who burned down the cabin.
Yeah, that would be the biggest disappointment of all this. Especially now that they've done this trial and everything like that, and we still don't get a fucking answer, that would be really disappointing. So
yeah, it was Shauna because we saw her like writing her journals when the fire started. So like obviously it wasn't actually her. Again, I like what Misty's doing. Again, we saw that Shauna didn't do it,
but they didn't.
But yeah, they didn't. So I like that Misty's whole point. She even says later, is like the point I'm making is that given context, you could assume multiple people had reasons to do it. You know?
Yeah. And then when it's Thaisa's turn to question her, this is really heartbreaking. She mentions, the night that Shauna was going into labor and everything like that. You asked Ben for help and you were bleeding out, and what did Ben do? And she mentions that Ben did nothing. I like that this was brought up because, this was a little scene at the time, but I really like this because, this was a very traumatic experience for Shauna, and she mentioned, that Ben really wasn't there for her and everything like that. She just went off to the next room and says, all I did was play a video. And, obviously the fan in me, I'm supposed to feel this way, but I'm just like, oh, come on, that's like one thing that Ben didn't do right. I was like, come on, like he did everything else right.
I can't really that. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, but, I get this, though. I can kind of get why Shauna felt that way, because, Ben was, like, the adult in the room, and he didn't really know, like, what to do type of thing.
So, like, Shauna, like we said earlier, like, is hitting a lot of her fucking anger and hate on Ben because he thinks he burned the cabin down. And, like, it really seemed like she just was looking for a target for her anger.
Yeah, and Ben was it.
So, like, because like when Thaisa points out that like Ben wasn't helping her during labor, Shauna kind of had a look in her face like, oh shit, like you're right.
Yeah.
So like now I think that like it's another excuse essentially for Shauna to like hate Ben.
Yeah, because again she's just lashing out on everyone, and now she has a reason to do it.
Which is really cool because it ties into present day, where she's like pinning a lot of her like issues on Misty and like the ghost of Jackie, essentially.
Yeah. So then, I like this because after Shauna's testimony, like, Ben has this look on his face, like, oh no, I'm because like, when Ben does a speech later, he pretty much has to get Shauna's the main one. I think he's trying to get to like, rule him not guilty, because as you're gonna find out, Shauna's the one that ends up getting ends up getting the majority rules type of thing. So this what Shauna not being sold is kind of screwing everybody over type of thing. So then the next testimony is Lottie. Kind of cool Lottie did one. I know she didn't really have much of a relationship with Ben, but this kind of works out. Misty's the one questioning Lottie where she mentions, cool tie-in where they mentioned that, like, Lottie was really good in history. So, like, Misty was able to kind of use this in her defense and mention, there's been times in history before where, like, someone didn't believe in something. So, they would take action and, bring down the believers. And, obviously this is a big tie into what season 2 of YellowJackets was mainly about, with some people believed in the wilderness, some people didn't believe in the wilderness. And she mentioned, there were other people that didn't believe in the wilderness, like Thaisa. She only went to the group because Van was going. Natalie didn't believe.
She mentions fucking Jen. Jen, of all people. I didn't even know Jen was her fucking name until Misty pointed it out.
Yeah, mentions, that Jen...
You fucking did something, I guess.
Yeah. They mentioned they could have just been the one. Obviously, Travis isn't mentioned, so that's because he believes, and Natalie present day talked out of her ass there.
Fucking wrong.
Yeah.
I guess.
And yeah, Lottie, she said that Lottie could have even done it, because maybe she got upset that, the wilderness stopped listening to her and, like, took a lot of power and everything like that, and mentions also, like, maybe it was to get other people to believe. I really like this conversation that Misty and Lottie have with each other, considering the fact that, Lottie, I don't really think did or didn't believe, but she was able to kind of get Lottie to really open up and talk about how she felt about Ben and everything like that. I don't think we got the Thaisa POV for this one. I think it was just Misty for the most part. And at this point, you know,
I do like how like they're getting like mad at Misty for like hurling out like accusations, but Natalie kind of defends her, being like she's doing her job.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you know, at this point, it seems like everyone, as the trial goes on, it's like 50-50. With Shauna's testimony, it got everyone out of Ben's favor. And then, like, with, like, the audience was feeling that way. Like, yeah, Ben's not going to get out of it. And then, like, with Lottie's testimony, it was, you know, kind of making everyone kind of like think and everybody like that. And like Thaisa kind of knows like trial is going to be like a lose for them. Like she's thinking. So Shauna comes over and mentions offhandedly that, you know, Natalie, that Misty told her that Natalie had a suspicion. No, sorry. Let me say that again. That Misty told her that she had a suspicion that Natalie potentially knew what Ben was. And obviously this is kind of like you know, them throwing a rabbit into a hat where they're like, you know, that gave them something to use for the defense and everything like that. So
yeah, I will say, how long have you known about this? And Shauna's like, does it matter or something? And I'm like, no, wait, Thaisa brings up a really good point. Shauna, why didn't you bring this up earlier?
Yeah, they could have used it for the defense. But you know, obviously she wanted to point this out because Natalie's known about it longer type of thing. So that was what that scene was supposed to represent. So the next scene is, you know, Thaisa calls Natalie to the stand. And obviously this is really unconventional. I like the fact that they mentioned how unconventional this is, because that the judge is going to also be like a witness, because that typically doesn't happen. But obviously, because this is a very unconventional trial, and it makes sense that they treat it that way. So she sits in the stand, and Thaisa keeps asking Natalie, when was the last time you saw Ben? And I really like this, because obviously, you know, Natalie is obviously kind of trying to tiptoe around it, like mentions like it was like right after we killed Harvey and everything like that. But obviously she kind of gets it to a point where she kind of has to like full on confess, where you know, she mentions that you know, she saw him you know, after that and saw him walk off, but then didn't come back you know, afterwards type of thing. And Thaisa also tries to get this to point out, like, yeah, so Coach Ben disappears, and what a coincidence a fire breaks out, you know, when he disappears type of thing. And obviously now he said, like, there was never a reason that he could have done it type of thing, because obviously it could all this other stuff could happen. It could have just been a pure coincidence that it happened. And she mentioned, you know, that she just wanted to let Ben leave Ben in peace, because obviously she thought he wasn't a threat to anyone and wasn't going to hurt anybody, and just let Ben live on. And obviously Thais is pissed about this because she called off the search for Ben and didn't feel like it was worth like trying to find him or anything like that, and she knew he was like alive.
At this point, like Shauna screams, like, you know, you didn't have a right to decide, you know, he wasn't a threat, you know, like we all should have kind of had a say in that.
Yeah. And you know,
again, from their point of view, I kind of get it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're being unreasonable, and like they would have gone for Ben's fucking throat regardless. But like, I do kind of agree that they all should have had a discussion about this, like, when the cabin burned down.
Yeah. So Natalie says that you know, I didn't think he was a threat, he wasn't hurting anyone. And, you know, Natalie, this obviously puts Ben in a really bad light now that, like, Natalie really couldn't really defend him that much, because Natalie fucking up there kind of messed everything up. And at one point, I forgot to mention this, I think it's during the Lottie scene, she mentions that Crystal could have also burnt down the cabin, which I kind of like, because, you know, obviously, because Misty actually knows what happened to Crystal, so I like that she kind of used that, like, her little bullshit there to, you know, mention that.
Yeah, and Crystal like went missing. She didn't actually say that like she fucking killed Crystal. But it's weird. Okay, so nobody reacted to that. So I'm like, is Crystal like it's weird that nobody reacts when Misty ever mentions Crystal.
Crystal is just a mystery, I guess.
I like it if Misty's like, maybe Crystal did it, and somebody's like, who's Crystal?
Yeah. Then we get the style of the whole trial. I mean, it really is the style of the whole trial, but then his speech is just awesome. It's time for Ben to, obviously give his testimony. And I like Ben's testimony a lot, where, like, Misty's asking...
It's the highlight of this episode, by far. I would say it's the highlight of the season.
Yeah. And this is the first time he really got to get... Because, he had a monologue the last episode, but this monologue was even better. And I think you really got, like, a sense, and finally got to, like, really define, like, his character, and it makes sense all of the... why he is the way that he is. And, Misty's, thinking Ben's gonna, like, actually, like, keep, try to pull forth, like, a full effort and try to get himself innocent. So, like, Misty tries to use, like, his job and stuff, like, thinking that that's gonna help him. Be like, so, do you like being a coach and all that stuff? But Ben, like, mentions, like, he didn't really want to be a coach. And I like this, because obviously this is a reveal to the cast, but we've already kind of, like, known this. Like, we've known this about Ben, where, like, all of the choices and all of the reasons he's in the places he is has been out of his choice. So I really like the fact that, like, this is the first time Ben's revealing this to the cast themselves and everything like that. And he mentions, I didn't really want to be a soccer coach. It just kind of fell on my lap. And he even mentions that Ben doesn't really like kids. And, I like that Misty's getting, like, really heartbroken with Ben's answers. And I like that Ben's being honest. Ben could have just bullshitted and just been like, no, like, yeah, I like kids type of thing. But I like that he's being honest. And then Ben says, like, look, like, I thought that, you guys became a really good soccer team. I thought that I could take that to nationals. And he mentioned, I thought I could make that into a career for myself. But then he says, like, I didn't want to be a sub or anything like that originally, but I ended up kind of liking teaching, and I ended up building up, like, a connection with you guys. And he talks about how they're underdogs, and he's talked about how he's been an underdog and he stayed an underdog. And he mentioned, that his family really didn't look out for him much. So when I saw that I could look out for you guys, it gave me a way that I could do something my parents never did for me. And he mentioned, that if I really wanted to hurt you guys, I could have done it a long time ago. He mentions like a night they all got drunk and were too hungover to go to, like, soccer, like, game the next day, and instead of ratting them out, he just said they all had food poisoning. He mentions he caught, like, Thaisa and Van, like, together at one point, which I like that, because that kind of, like, was a reveal that they were kind of a thing before the plane crash. We didn't really get anything on that really much before.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because we knew they were hiding it, but I guess that, like, shows that, like, Ben already knew before they came out at the Doom coming.
Yeah. So, Ben mentions, that, he mentions all the things that we've been saying about his character for years, and we just get to finally hear it revealed. We all seem to get along, but then we got out here, and it's like everything just got all messed up. You guys cut my leg off. You guys stopped listening to me, which is really good, because obviously we saw that expressed with how Bible Girl Laura Lee died, and you guys just became something.
He tried to, like, stop Jackie and Shauna from fighting, and, like, Lottie told him to shut up.
Yeah, and he says, "You guys just stop showing me respect," and then you guys just started doing all these weird things that I just didn't understand. And, we've been on Ben's side in all of this, but then Ben finally mentions, like, look, like, maybe I shouldn't have left. Maybe I should have, like, stuck it through, because, everything that you guys have done out here, I don't really understand it, but it's really remarkable. Because, again, and this was Ben, the actor himself, like, feeling this way, like, seeing the set, like, seeing the community that they built. And I think in a weird way, like, Ben talked about this trial was a farce. I think in a weird way, he's kind of proud that they put this trial, like, together. They're building, like, some sense of community. So, as much as Ben probably thinks this trial is a farce, in a weird way, I think he's really proud of, like, this trial. Like, the fact that they're building a community.
build all this out of essentially nothing, and they managed to survive this long. Yeah.
And Ben even mentioned, like, it's stuff that, like, I couldn't even bring myself to do. And I like that Ben says, I never should have left you guys. I just became like my parents, who are, you know. And specifically, he even looks at Shauna and says, like, I am so fucking sorry, Shauna. Because, again, Shauna's the one he's trying to sell the speech to.
Also, because, like we said, Ben has done fucking, like, nothing wrong. The only thing that you could, like, blame him for is, like, not being helpful when Shauna was giving birth. So I like that. Like, it seems like Ben is, like, legitimately like yeah, like you said, he needs to convince Shauna, but also, like, I think he does legitimately feel bad about that.
Yeah,
like the look on his face when that was brought up, like he seemed like ashamed that he couldn't be of more help to her.
But I just really like this. You finally get, like, a really good deep dive into Ben's character, where, like, yeah, like, he's admitting his flaws. He's mentioning how much of an underdog he was, and this is just really good. If this ends up being like his last, like, lines he ever cuts in the show, that's probably gonna be like the best line, I think. Probably someone in like the history of television probably, like, could have, like, cut like that. That's
we're underselling it. Like, Ben's actor did such a good fucking job. Like he, like, voice was cracking. Like, you know, he's shedding a couple tears. And again, I like it because based on what he was saying before, like when we got that flashback with Paul, like Paul was saying, like, well, you don't even like your team, like you think they're little demons. And you know, again, earlier when Ben was in the cave with Maury, he was saying how he didn't even really want to be a substitute teacher. He kind of was just doing it to, like, you know, until, like, a better job came along and he could, like, pay off the student loans. But then and he was kind of starting to off the same way. He's saying, like, I didn't really want to be a teacher. I don't particularly like kids. But then Misty points out, like, you've been at the same high school for 9 years. Like, you know, if you really hated it that much, or, like, you know, at the very least you could have gone to another high school, but, like, you've stayed in the same spot for 9 years. And I think this is, yeah, and then that's kind of where Ben was, like, looking on the positive. Because, again, everything up to this point, every time Ben's talked about it, he said, like, he hates his job, he hates the kids.
Yeah.
But, like, he's done so much for them, you know? And, like, he, you know, like, again, he's been giving relationship advice to Natalie and Travis. He was, considering all the fucked up shit Misty's done, he's been pretty nice to Misty.
Yeah.
And, like, a bunch of other shit. So, like, I like that when Misty kind of prods him a bit more, he gets, like, emotional, and he, again, starts talking about how he liked their underdogs, and like, he kind of wanted to be like what his parents never were for him.
Yeah.
So I
really like the speech here. Yeah, just really him finally coming to the realization that, like, his life really wasn't as bad, and, like, the fact that, like, he gets you know. And again, I feel like till we get to finally hear, like, someone be proud of what the YellowJackets have built. Because, again, we don't really get, like, an outsider's perspective. Because Ben's really the outsider. Because, again, he hasn't been here all this time or anything like that.
And I like that Ben saying this. Because, again, obviously he was horrified because he was the only one who didn't eat Jackie's dead body. He was obviously horrified that they, like, killed Travis.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, he obviously doesn't believe in all this wilderness stuff. So, like you said, him kind of seeing the little community they've built in a few months, or however fucking long it's been, kind of had him turn around a little bit and be like, yeah, you know, the going got tough, and I ditched you guys. And, you know, even though I don't understand you guys, I probably shouldn't have, like, judged you guys so harshly.
I feel like...
And, like, honestly, that's more credit than Ben fucking... than they deserve, honestly. I cannot fucking blame him for feeling that way. And again, he even pointed it out. Like, they stopped listening to him, and, like, he felt like he was going to be next, you know? Like,
yeah. I mean, we saw it in season 2. I feel like to hear Ben say that, too, because they're so ashamed of it, like, in the present, they won't talk about it. So it's kind of cool to hear a character, you know, in the present timeline of it happen, and actually giving them credit for all the shit they did to survive and everything like that type of thing too.
And so it is interesting because I think we've pointed out that, like, you know, Ben was 100% right to feel like he was going to be next to be eaten. But to be fair to them, nobody else ever, like, expressed that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, nobody else was like, if we're gonna eat anybody, Ben's the next one. You know, that was kind of in Ben's head.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
No, again, I think he was valid in thinking that.
I
But
think
to
so.
be fair, like nobody was like, as far as we can tell, nobody was actually thinking that.
Yeah. Because again, they didn't even notice Ben was like gone when they were doing all the when they were doing the hunt for Harvey. And well, it wasn't even Harvey; it was Natalie and everything.
And then fucking Javi just got fucking collateral damage.
Yeah. So, yeah, you really can't blame him, and everything like that. And again, you can understand Ben thinking, with everything where Ben think he's gonna be next because obviously, they didn't really have much of a connection with him all that much. Everyone else was kind of all friends. Ben was kind of, other than Travis, I guess the outsider, but Travis had opened up to the community and everything like that.
When Shauna said that Ben's like jealous of us because like he's not one of us.
Yeah. So.
Okay, you said, but yeah, I do like that line.
But then it's time for the decision time. Everyone has to vote, and Shauna, Backwards Cap Girl, Van, and also because Misty was a defense and Thaisa was like the main one of the prosecutor and Natalie was the judge. They're not voting. I forgot to mention that because obviously, but and Van vote that Ben's guilty. I didn't catch this the first time. There was a look that Thaisa gave Van when she still voted him guilty anyway. So I'm wondering if they'll do something with that. Because I'm wondering too, like, because I think with Ben's speech, I think some of the people, like, I think Thaisa probably got sold that he probably didn't burn the cabin down. So,
Again, I wish the fact that Ben saved Van last episode was like brought up.
Yeah, but and then Travis, Lottie, Recasco number 1, Jen, and some background people, raise their hand saying he's not guilty. And it's not 2/3. I probably messed that up too, but basically 2/3 isn't voted upon, so they have to keep like voted until they reach 2/3. And obviously this is going on for a while. They do a really good montage where you see like the cast getting like a drink at one point to show like this has been going for a long time. And they keep voting and it keeps being the same. And then eventually
Like the main inspiration from 12 Angry Men it's the reverse where in 12 Angry Men it has to be unanimous.
Yeah.
And it's one guy convincing the other people that like the guy's innocent and like he has to convince everybody.
Yep.
And then this is obviously reverse where the majority is believing that Ben is innocent, but what Shauna does like gets a lot of them to vote guilty.
Yeah. So yeah, Shauna then says, then starts just going off saying like, look, like he burned down our cabin, like he's not one of us. He's been judging us ever since day one. He's not one of us. And at this point, Shauna's cheating because the trial's over. There's really no reason for like them to even talk about this anymore. It has to be all their like.
Can I get my thoughts on this, or are you still talking?
I'm still talking.
Okay.
So Shauna's basically cheating and kind of making everyone fearful of everyone to vote Ben guilty. So then eventually we see like also too doing all this the good woods, the YellowJackets woods, not the other woods, is like off in the distance, like with the camera type of thing, like coming over as if like the wilderness is speaking through like Shauna and everything like that. And this causes I think what the random background character to like vote against Ben, and then Lottie does, which was very interesting. Lottie and Shauna give each other a look, and this was interesting, obviously, because of what they're going through in the present, and then what we were about, to find out of what's going to happen to Lottie, as you'll talk about in the present. That's not good. And then Travis raises his hand very begrudgingly, and because of this, Shauna is able to convince the majority to be voted upon, and obviously now he's upset about this because obviously Ben got kind of fucked over. I mean, the trial was a farce anyways, but like Shauna made it even more of a farce. So, you know, Natalie has to even tell like Ben, like, we find you guilty. They put him back to wherever he's staying. And before I talk about the end of the past, would you want to give your thoughts on this? Because I felt bad. Like, I don't know, after Ben's speech, and again, you're supposed to feel this way. You're not really supposed. You know, how could you root against Ben? But but Shauna's full on still rooting against Ben. And again, it's just her lashing out on Ben, just blaming all of the blames, and just lashing out on everyone. And she's basically doing that to Ben and getting potentially an innocent man killed when he hasn't really done all that much to really like hurt her, and hasn't really had much of a relationship. But what do you think about all this, and for the most part, and everything?
Yeah. Well, again, I like that it's kind of showing that Natalie isn't isn't a very strong leader.
Yeah.
The whole about that, where well, what I also like that, like, her wanting a 2/3 majority vote kind of fucked her over in the end. Because like, yeah, 2/3 vote. Because if it was just majority, then Ben would have been off already after the first vote. Because the majority already voted for Ben not guilty.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't 2/3. They had to keep voting. So I like that Natalie made it 2/3 to try and save Ben, but it ended up fucking him over.
Yeah, it did.
But also, again, you know, they just kept voting over and over and over again without like any discussion. And then eventually, again, Shauna lashing out, and like Natalie tried to tell Shauna, like, shut up, like trial's over, you can't be doing this. And then like, but she just like didn't do enough to stop Shauna, and that caused everybody else to change their vote.
Yep.
And also from Shauna, I like that this whole trial, like we said, they've been given pretty good arguments both ways. And a big point in favor of Ben was just that, like, you cannot say for certain Ben did it. Like, why are we going to find him guilty when we cannot prove that Ben did it, just as, like, we can't prove anybody else did it? And then Shauna she keeps screaming, like, he burned the cabin down, he burned the cabin down. And, like, that's not an argument, you know, you're just saying it like a fact, when the whole fucking point of the trial was you cannot prove that for a fact.
Yeah, exactly.
So, again, it's just showing that Shauna doesn't have an argument. She's just looking for a target to, like, put all of her hate on. And, yeah, sure enough, it seems like nobody else even really, like, believes Shauna. But they're, like you said, they're just, like, scared of her. So they just agree with her.
Yeah, and I kind of hope. I kind of hope what you said about the Natalie thing, you know, it makes Natalie question whether even she wants to be leader. And maybe, like, you know, even though, like you said, Natalie has to pull the trigger, this can still lead to Natalie's drug addiction because, again, like, her not being an effective leader, not being in control, like, fucked over Ben's life, pretty much, and everything like that, which would be interesting.
And Shauna kind of had a look when Misty was like, hey, don't you think you deserve to be leader? Shauna kind of like hesitated before she said no. So it makes me think that maybe Shauna does actually want to be leader, and maybe she will be the leader instead of Natalie at the end of the season.
And that could explain why why there was always in the present like this unspoken like dynamic between Natalie and Shauna whenever we saw them together in the present. It wouldn't completely make sense because obviously there was some bullshit that went into that, but it would be enough. Yeah, and then at the end of all this, backwards Cap Girl like even like shows like Shauna like look like you were able with your leadership and like your empowerment able to like turn people around and make people think that like make people vote Ben guilty.
Fucking crazy when she said it. She's like, you see that? That's a real fucking power. I'm like, whoa, what? Yeah. And what the fuck?
And then they like hold hands and like kind of shows that that's something. I would like this more if again Backwards Cap Girl like talked like more than like twice last season and had been like a character.
Because before she like is like okay she has a crush on Shauna I guess, but now it seems like she's like sticking with Shauna because she like knows Shauna's like everyone's scared of Shauna, so if she kind of is like Shauna's right hand woman, like she'll be like safe, I guess.
She'll be the counselor from OVB, I guess.
That's a good one. I like that.
And then doing all this, we see that you know,
Sorry. Like you said that they hold hands, but I like how Shauna doesn't like smile at her or anything. She just kind of like gives her like the fucking
the devil
bitch face look.
Yeah, the devil
And
eyes.
then, resting bitch face, and then that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And then she walks away, so kind of showing that like she's being kind of like low key abusive to backwards Cap girl.
Yep. And then the past ends with this probably should have been the end of the episode actually, but we can't have it all. But where Lottie's asking Travis what he drew, and it's like the end of the trial, and it like shows like Ben like being like stabbed with like a stake, and like basically what his fate's gonna be. I'm like, Travis, why the hell did you draw this, dude? Like, what are you doing?
So I saw like the one person in the middle lying down, and then like the three like people like with their arms up. I thought it was showing that like they were sacrificing him to like the heavens or whatever.
That's a good. Hey, that's a good sacrifice for Ben. I think the what's it called? I think the Wilderness would definitely want Ben type of thing. So it's good.
Yeah,
it's a good sacrifice.
So again, like you said, I mean that could be what it is. Like they're gonna like spike him or whatever the fuck.
But yeah, we'll see what it is.
Really vague. So like I guess whenever we find out how this all ends, I'll come back to the scene and see if I can kind of piece it together.
Yeah, but that was the pass. Pass was fantastic. You know, I love the trial. It went exactly the way I would have wanted it, where you know, everyone got to kind of decide. Kind of showed how ineffective leader Natalie is. You got to kind of, you know, again, if it's wrapping up Ben's death. I mean, the thing I hate about this is I know Ben's dying. I just almost want them to just do it just to stop, like, tearing my soul out. I almost want this, just put me out of my misery. Like, please, just do this. I don't deserve this.
Boy, please.
Huh?
I said, please stop torturing the best boy, please.
Like, but yeah, I just, you know, all of the dynamics work. Ben's, acting was phenomenal. Misty's acting was phenomenal. Everyone's acting here was phenomenal. And the pass is just really a home run so far this season. It's my favorite. It's probably so far. It's probably my favorite pass of YellowJackets. You know, so far.
I agree.
Again, they still got to stick the landing at the end. I think. We like the pass, but we're cautious because once this Ben stuff wraps up, I hope the pass can continue the momentum that it has. So
yeah, I mean, it looks like Ben's gonna die next episode, so we still got half the season left after that happens. So, I mean, we don't even really know what they can do for the second half of the season. But yeah, continuing on to the present, which has definitely been like pretty weak. Maybe the weakest present, honestly.
Yeah, I think I said this off camera. Obviously, it's not as big, but this feels like a little bit of LVB Season 9, where like the past was really strong, but the present was weak. Obviously, it's not completely, because Season 9's, at least Season 3's present of LVB. No, sorry. Season 3's present of YellowJackets has like a plot, I guess. But
yeah, I know. Season 9 of RVP, fucking the present didn't matter till like the last 5 minutes.
While you talk, by the way, I'm gonna take. I'm just gonna shut my camera off and just take. It's still recording. I'm just gonna take my medication while you do this. So.
Cool. But yeah, I shall start off with Tice and Van's plot because that's kind of the most separate from everything. So continuing off from last time, where Tice believes that the Wilderness is gonna like has saved Van from her cancer by killing the waiter, and she wants to like keep appeasing the Wilderness to like to make Van like healthy, because remember the cancer isn't gone, it's just like shrunk a lot. So I think Tice is like desperate to save Van, so she thinks if they like sacrifice people to the Wilderness, it'll like save Van completely. Again, a friendly reminder that Tice's wife was in the hospital last season and she didn't give a flying fuck, but now that Van is around, she's like, I will murder everybody in the world to keep you safe. But yeah, they go to a coffee place, and their idea is they're gonna take the deck of cards, the Queen card, which obviously, if you remember last season, the Queen card decides if you're going to be the one who sacrificed. So they're going to just put it on the ground and watch and see if anybody picks it up. And if anybody picks it up, they'll take that as the wilderness picking them. Kind of a weird plan, but like, so Taisa points out like, hey, if it works, cool, and if it doesn't, then obviously nothing venture, nothing gain. This is such a fucking crazy step to make, of just like, we're gonna fucking see if anybody picks up a card, and if they pick up the card, we're gonna fucking stalk them to kill them. I'm like, oh my god. Well, it's just also so weird because Taisa was like so guilt-ridden over this waiter for like 2 episodes. But then when she was like, oh, the wilderness killed them to save you from cancer, awesome. Let's kill like fucking more people. I'm down for it. And now to be fair, Van is kind of the one questioning all this. And she's like, this is weird. This is a dumb plan. And later on, she's like, no, let's not do this. But Tyson's fucking all in on it. She is like fucking ready to fucking kill people.
I could hear what you were saying. Can I mention the biggest critique that you haven't even like mentioned yet about this whole plot line? The last episode, like they were about to get like attacked by like a coyote or whatever, and then like nothing came of it. Like they just cut to this fucking scene the next day.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they like saw a coyote in like the abandoned building, and I guess the coyote just was like, okay, bye.
And like we got something about the man with no eyes, and then we got nothing on it about like this episode. Like this is just a consistent trend with like Thaisa's plot lines, where like nothing just gets fucking sticks.
Feels like I said, I kind of forgot about those scenes because this kind of picks up where when Van told Taisa like her cancer's going away, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot they like went to that abandoned building and the whole man with no eyes thing. Like I totally fucking forgot about all that.
This reminds me of that episode. I'm pretty sure it was like they found out like Sammy was like sleepwalking or whatever, and then the fucking follow-up episode they did with it was like she went to that like dinner scene and it had nothing to do with like Sammy, and it was like
after that was like dealing with Sammy again. It's like, okay, it feels like this was kind of out of order.
And again, you're doing it with the same fucking character. Like what? This is why I can't get invested into Thaisa's character, because the fucking writers just fucking half-assed.
The worst. It sucks. But, yeah, so, like I said, Taisa has made a very strange character decision where she's like, okay, we're just going to kill random fucking people.
Yeah, this was a leap.
Like,
I thought, like, they would have done something where, like, they were just going to, like, follow these people and see if, like, the wilderness would actually, like, take them, but they would know she was just going to go full on, like, kill them.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was what they were going with, too. But, so, like, they're kind of watching the card for a while. And people, like, one person, like, picks it up and puts it back down. And I'm like, it's a fucking card on the side of a fucking road. Who the fuck cares? But yeah, then one guy picks it up and actually, like, keeps it. And they're like, okay, cool. We're going to stalk him. Okay? And he, like, picks it.
I like that one. I like that one of them was a little kid. That brought me back to like Ulan. I'm like, oh no, Ulan doesn't want you. Ulan doesn't. You're just gonna ruin Ulan's life and make him a slave.
Like, I do like that. This guy is like, please, fucking stay away. Like somebody else, please.
Yeah.
But he picks up like a little girl's like dress from like a dry cleaner or something, and Tice is trying to be like, oh, look at him. He's probably a fucking pedophile. And then Van's like, or he could have like a daughter or something.
Yeah.
Very, very like, so basically Thais is like just looking for reasons to like want to fucking kill this guy.
Yeah, I guess so.
And yeah, sure enough, they like stalk him back to his apartment. And Taisa is like, literally, she like opens the door and is gonna go in and presumably just fucking kill this guy.
And who even knows he should be successful? This guy could be like a mixed martial arts artist, so like could be really good in self-defense.
Fucking Goku, like he just fucking like punches her like through the fucking wall.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
He's the fucking last airbender. He just like fucking blows her up. Remember that scene in book 3 where Aang just like fucking shoots Zuko through the fucking wall?
Yeah.
He's just enough.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Van is like, hey, so like let's not do this. to be fair, she makes a good point of like, listen, let's just like enjoy what time I have left. Like, let's not, like ruin it with all this.
Yeah.
And Taissa, okay, I guess she decides, okay, cool, I'm not going to murder this guy. This was a very strange episode for Taissa.
100%. I think what made this Taissa plotline even more annoying was it was interrupting the Ben stuff. And, like...
Yeah.
Because I think that's the thing I don't like about... Because plotlines can be bad, but on their own. But I also hate it because this plotline's just interrupting stuff that we can, like, actually be, like, focused on that's, like, good, I guess. Like...
Yeah, it's just weird. Again, like, the whole waiter thing was dumb.
Yeah.
And then, like, the whole, like, they're going to fucking see if anybody picks up a card, and then they're going to kill that person. It's like... I don't know how we got here.
Can't we just, like, wouldn't it have made more sense, like, to make it more realistic, couldn't, like, Taissa, I mean, this would be goofy, too, but it'd be better than picking up a card, like, try to get people to pick the queen card, like, something, like, go up to people, like, you know.
Yeah, at least that. Like, it's like, they put the card on the sidewalk, and they're going to see if anybody picks it up and takes it.
Because they didn't put it in, like, a notice, I don't think you talked about this, they didn't even put it in, like, a noticeable, like, place, they put it, like, next to, like, trash cans, or whatever, like, no one...
Like, who sees a fucking dirty-ass card like, next to a bunch of trash cans? I'm like, I'm going to pick this up and take it.
Apparently this guy.
Yeah.
Which makes you question him,
and, like,
too.
it's off as so goofy, you know? Like, it doesn't come off as, like, serious. Like, it's fucking dumb.
And they wanted it to come off as serious. They played, like, serious music over this. I'm like, this isn't serious. It's like...
And again, it's just weird that Taissa was, like, so, like, heartbroken that she accidentally got a guy killed. And then now she's like, oh, let's fucking murder a guy. And, like, you know, like, she's trying to talk and make it seem like he's a pedophile. It's like, what the fuck?
This is gonna, I mean, you know what this was? We need, you know, all the main characters have to do something. What is, it seems like they forgot to write a plot.
Like, they are contractually obligated to be in this episode, but they don't know what the fuck to do with them.
It feels like, too, they won't, like, they forgot, and maybe, like, the writers forgot to write a plot for Taissa and Van, so, like, shit, we forgot to write a plot for Taissa and Van, and they wrote it, and, like...
Plot in seasons 1 and 2, but, like, this feels so unconnected from all of that.
Yeah, it's just...
Oh, and do you remember that Taissa fucking ran for senator? The show fucking doesn't remember that.
Yeah,
do you remember that Taissa had a wife and a kid? The show doesn't remember that.
Yeah. Taissa might be the word.
Fucking store and had like an entire life, like a state away. The show doesn't remember that.
Van hasn't been back to that store in apparently weeks.
Apparently, I guess. And I remember like people were like talking to her in the store, like it seemed like she had like friends and shit. Nope.
Yeah, you know, guess not. Guess their lives didn't matter.
Yeah. Taissa should have fucking killed them. You know why not?
Yeah, but yeah, I guess just talk about the end of Taissa's plotline because it's
yeah. So, well, I guess I forgot to mention it because it was kind of random. But before this, Taissa like called Lottie to be like, hey, the whole like thing like that you said when Natalie died about like it was pleased with us, like we'll see, like what did you mean by that? And Lottie was like, I don't know, bye, beep.
Because, you know, Lottie already had a conversation for the year, so, you know, it can't have any more.
And I want to point that out. So Lottie was, like, walking out of a really expensive hotel. So, obviously, she had money and, like, a place to go. But, you know, she was just, like, bullshitting when she said she needed to stay with Shauna and she didn't have anybody else.
Yep.
So, I guess we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Taissa like tells Van like, "Hey, listen, meet me at like Central Park in like an hour," and she disappears. And that makes me think that something happened with Taissa and Lottie, or at the very least, it's a red herring, and the show makes you want to think something happened.
Yeah,
because something happens with Lottie a little bit, and obviously Taissa like vanished for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I mean, also you could say the same thing with Callie because we're gonna find out Callie vanished for a little bit this episode. So you know, I guess our next what happens with Lottie are Taissa and Callie.
Yeah. Well, they also
who knows? Maybe find out that Lottie fucking just killed herself like Travis. I don't know.
Or some random guy, you know, it's like that thing with the...
Appeal and fucking falls down a flight of stairs, you know, fuck it.
Yeah. Or it's like that thing with the... You know, when they... In the Avatar, when they claim the Fire Lord burned down the forest, when it was... When, like, we think it's just some random guy.
Who did that?
The Fire Nation did that.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been those damn Fire Nation guys. Damn, that's crazy. It definitely wasn't me. Tells Van, meet me at the park in 1 hour, and she, like, storms off all serious. And then they meet up Central Park. And I do like this, where we get a little callback to what they said in the past. Where they're like, hey, Van, you told me you wanted to take me to Central Park and go on a horse ride and buy me, like, a churro.
Yep.
But Thaisa has to give Van money to buy the churro.
That was funny, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they go on a little carriage ride, which was cute.
I would probably like the scene more if, like, Thaisa and Van's relationship in the present hasn't been, like, such a force. Because it's been such a force.
Yeah, again, I like the scene in isolation, and I like the scene because, like, it calls back to the past.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it. You know, like, I only like it because I like Van and Thaisa in the past. I don't really like them in the present.
So, yeah, Van and Thaisa's present plot line was like two middle fingers to the fans, it seemed like you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's not two middle fingers and it's not two thumbs down. It's two middle fingers down.
I like that. I like that. It was awful. I feel like, too, again, we could have seen, like, more shit with the trial. Like, maybe Travis, like you said, you wanted to set Travis's thoughts. This took away from seeing Travis's thoughts about the trial and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. But, so Thaisa disappearing for an hour and telling Van to meet her at Central Park for the date, that, you know, obviously leads to the suspicion of, like, oh shit, did Thaisa go and, like, murder Lottie to, like, satisfy the wilderness?
I don't even know how the fuck would she even know where she was?
Yeah, I don't either. But again, it seems like that's what the show's kind of, like, making you think.
Yeah. There was that little weird thing where, like, Van's hand was shaking when she was buying the pretzel, so I'm wondering what that was about, but not completely wondering because I don't care.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it for their plot. Like I said,
not good.
Yep. And then,
you know, how long did it take to talk about that? It took you, what, like 10 minutes? Like,
huh?
That took you, what, like 5 minutes probably to talk about?
Yeah, it wasn't much. There's not a lot of past. I mean, not a lot of present this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get Jeff and Shauna at an auto shop. It'd be funny if this was the same auto shop.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
And you know what's funny? Like, it's Adam's actor, but he has like a mustache. And it's like, I'm Adam's twin brother, Badam.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like Shauna thinks it's a vision originally, like something in her head, but then it's like an actual like guy or whatever type of thing.
Or reminds me, remember that SpongeBob like employee of the month where he keeps running across the same guy, and it's like they're all fucking twin brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. But I miss when Adam was always around the corner at every given moment.
I know.
Adam, I miss.
I know. It's still. I mean, I guess it seems like season 3 ended that joke because season 2 we still had that joke going, but no, it's not. Season 3 it's over. I miss Adam.
No. Adam is at peace now that Kevin is with him.
Yeah, he is pretty much. So it's good.
Yeah. But rest in peace, Adam. But I
miss when Harvey used to fuck off and like go into town.
I know. He was a reverse Javi. Javi would fuck off and was never around. Adam was always around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
He was Javi. But yeah, anyway.
Did you ever hear that theory, by the way, that like a lot of people thought it's actually really funny. Like Adam was Javi, like older, because you know it was before we knew Javi's fate. That would have been
That'd be so funny if Shauna didn't fucking recognize him.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
That's so dumb. I kind of wish that happened.
Can I actually tell you the cool Ben theory that I heard? Because I don't think it's gonna happen.
No,
Huh?
I changed my mind, Owen. You can't tell me.
I'm telling you anyways.
Okay. Tell me.
Everyone thinks Ben gets rescued and just leaves the YellowJackets behind, which would have been funny.
I love that. He's just like, see you later, fuck boys.
Based off this, I mean, even though it wouldn't fit his character, especially based off this episode, it'd be hilarious if he actually fucking did that.
No, I mean, I fucking love that. Everyone, like, somebody fucking rescues Ben. And he's like, hey, was anybody else in the plane crash? Nope, just me. All right, let's go. Bye.
And he has the plane, go by them, just so that way.
Yeah, they fly by and he's just giving them the fucking middle finger as they fly by.
That'd be awesome.
And then when they fucking get rescued later, he's just like, hey, fuck you guys.
But anyhow, let's continue. Let's continue talking.
So, I love that fucking idea. Flies by, fucking gives him the middle fucking. It's so fucking funny.
And he it'd be awesome if he specifically asked them to fly by that location too, type of thing. Like,
hey, listen, fucking, when we fly out of here, can you fly by this spot specifically? And they're like, why? It's like, I just want a nice view as we leave.
And the pilot just sees him in the back, just doing the birds, like "fuck you guys." And they just think he's going like.
Fucking, that theory was probably very serious and but the idea of that is just so fucking funny.
But anyhow, let's continue talking about the president of this episode. It's supposed to be your time to talk, and I'm just taking all the fucking shine away with this shit.
Oh my god, I know, right? Like we have to focus on Ben, even when it's unintentional. It's so fucking good.
But yeah, continue with Shauna's plot.
Yeah, so Shauna takes the van to the auto shop, and she's like, let me guess, the brakes are cut. And he's like, no, just the brake stopper or something went bad. And Shauna's like, aha, so somebody messed with the brake stopper. And he's like, no, it just went bad. It was old.
Do you buy?
So again, this professional is literally telling her nobody sabotaged your car, and Shauna doesn't believe him.
This does make more sense. I do like this because, obviously we speculated last episode, whoever, the stalker was for Shauna. Why would they do this? Because, obviously, we trying to piece together who the stalker is. It'd be really weird to want Shauna dead. So I like this because it's Shauna's just getting into her head thinking that, everyone's out to get her type of thing, which is kind of a big thing in the past type of thing.
Yeah, well, I think it ties well into the past where, Shauna has, all this evidence against what she's saying, but she just refuses to believe it.
Yeah,
because she believes that again, she's taking it very personal with Ben, that Ben was out to get her specifically, and yeah, it really comes off that she just well, again, it kind of ties into what Jeff said before too, of Shauna, not everything is about you. Other people have stuff that affects them.
Yeah.
And then after Jeff said that and left the room, Shauna immediately ignored it and went back to what she was doing.
Exactly, yeah.
So Shauna just is obsessed with herself and believes everything is about her essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, although Jeff is kind of believing there's more to this with Shauna, but he believes it's karma for all the bad things they've done. Although he has to correct himself and say for the bad things I did. Because he knows Shauna will throw a fit if he tries to say bad things she did.
Right.
But yeah, but he's blaming himself for what happened with Kevin because he didn't stop Kevin from dying, and he's like, oh, it's very karmatic because this car didn't stop, just like I didn't stop Kevin from dying.
Finally, someone mentioned Kevin. It only took 4 episodes.
Yeah. It was only once, but yeah, there we go. It's something.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jeff is wanting to find a stray cat that went missing years ago. He's like, hey, that'd be a very good, good deed to kind of even out our karma.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit later, he's wanting to sell a bunch of stuff to charity to make up for the bad things. Funny enough, this reminds me of El Camino. Remember where Jesse is talking to Mike and he's talking about moving to Alaska, you can start a new life, and Jesse says make things right.
Yeah.
And Mike says, that's the one thing you can't do.
If only Mike Elmantrot had been around for Jeff, he would have helped him out a lot. Maybe not, though. Maybe it would have made Jeff feel worse.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, Jeff is I want to do some good deeds to make up for what happened. And Mike's nah, you can't do that. No matter what good you do, it can't make up for the bad. But Jeff's oh, shit.
Yeah, Jeff would be Jeff and Mike would be a perfect characters to get together, weirdly enough.
Obviously, it's kind of sad and like a little pathetic that like Jeff is like kind of this desperate to like do kind of good minor things to make up for obviously the fucking murder.
Yeah.
But you feel bad that like Shauna and Callie are just like not taking him seriously. Well, like Shauna's at least trying to humor him a little bit of like, sure, honey, we'll do a little bit of charity work, you know, to kind of make you know, kind of do a little bit of good.
I like that. Yeah.
Being doesn't care about doing any good. She just kind of wants to make Jeff happy.
Yeah.
But Callie doesn't even do that. She's like, oh, that's dumb. And then she just like fucks off. She's like, okay, I'm not gonna volunteer. Bye.
Yeah. Kind of weird, you know, that Callie didn't get much focus this episode, you know, considering the fact that she's in, like, a main role. They usually like to have all the actors that are in.
Well, it kind of, like, disappears, and that, again, kind of like with Taissa, it makes you think that whatever happened with Lottie, it's tied to either Taissa or Callie.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
I'm assuming Callie, because, like, you know, obviously, again, we saw that Lottie like could have like stayed at Shauna's house specifically, and she was like really interested in Callie.
Yeah,
makes me think Callie like disappeared this episode to go hang out with Lottie.
Yeah, I hope we get something on that. But again, we can't really talk about it until we talk about Lottie's feet.
Yeah, sounded like you said feet for a second.
Well, there's probably Reddit stuff for that. So you know.
You know, listen. Now that the cult's gone, Lottie's got to make some money somehow.
Fortunately, yeah.
Yeah. She's like, the wilderness told me to sell my feet pics.
Yep.
There we go. Anyway, moving on from that. They are going to go to charity at the nursing home where Misty works. And Shauna's like, why? Here. Like, why'd you pick where Misty works? And Jeff's like, I don't fucking know. I didn't know that Misty works here.
I buy
this
that.
This is where Randy, to, like, make up for, like, his DUI or something. Like, he does community service here.
Mm-hmm. Love the fact...
I like that Randy has his own little fucking life outside of all this shit. Like, he does, like, fucking Uber Eats, and he fucking has a DUI and do community service.
Dude needs his own... Dude, we need a spin-off of Randy.
I want the fucking Randy show. Hell yeah.
And it should be a sitcom, because, you know, he's a kind of a comedic character here. It should be a sitcom.
Yeah, like, again, all this, like, crazy, like, murder shit is going on in the backgrounds, and Randy's just living his own fucking, like, sitcom life.
Is Jeff in it? I think Jeff should have a big part in it. He'll be perfect. He'd be perfect.
Like, Randy, did you help Jeff blackmail the YellowJackets? And like, honey, you know, like, little extra, oops, did I do that? And, you know, like,
I love it.
Yeah. But, yeah, I like that Jeff and Randy are kind of hanging out this episode. Again, I just like it because they've obviously been friends since high school.
Yeah.
And, like, again, obviously the joke is like Randy's kind of like pathetic, but like I like that Jeff is like legitimately like friends with him.
Yeah, you wouldn't really think they would still be friends, you know, after all these years and everything like that. Because
again, like that, like Jeff got him involved with the whole blackmailer thing because he's like, he's my best friend. I had to tell him, you know.
Yeah.
And like when Callie was like trying to say to like make the fake story that Shauna's sleeping with Randy. Jeff was like, my best friend, really?
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like that he got the idea to volunteer here because this is where Randy volunteers.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a very small thing, but I just fucking like that Jeff and Randy have this like bromance going on in this whole show.
And
I hope that it all ends. I hope that Jeff and fucking Randy are still friends at the end of the show.
Yeah, me too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And again,
sorry, did you want?
I like the fact that like Jeff didn't know Misty worked here. You could say what a coincidence it is that like it ended up being the same one Misty worked at, but I think you talked me out of it. It's not because again, Randy works here, so I can buy the fact that Jeff would pick there type of thing.
Yeah, and like they all live in the same town. I mean, you know, it's a retirement home. Sure, you know, why not? I can buy it.
Sure, why not?
And, you know, obviously Misty doesn't really, like, talk to Shauna and them, so, like, obviously why would Jeff know that where Misty works?
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, Misty comes up and she's like, oh, did you come to apologize? And Shauna's like, no, we're doing volunteer work. And Misty's like, okay, cool, I'm going to give you really shitty work. This is better than an apology.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, last episode with Misty getting really mad at Shauna and being, like, done, it came off as very serious. This episode kind of plays it off as like comedy. And I don't really like that.
It was a little goofy too that like the second of course they get there, like Misty just happened to be like walking outside with like a patient type of thing. That was goofy type of thing.
And it comes off like Misty isn't even really done because she's like, she still wants an apology.
Yeah. Not the best follow up to the Misty side of the plot line, I guess.
Yeah. But Jeff is actually having a lot of good time. So Randy's doing bingo, and a lot of the old people don't like it. But Jeff kind of takes over, and everyone finds him really charming. He's kind of joking around. Jeff knows his audience, And I like that because he's a salesman. He kind of knows how to like talk to people.
Yeah. And a lot of his things is he makes like old dad jokes, so it makes sense that old people would like find that funny type of thing.
And a little bit later, like he's sitting down with all these old people, and again, he's kind of having a good time with them. And Randy's getting a little jealous that like Jeff is like such a hit with everybody there.
There might be a murderer coming. That's all the signs of a murder. Jeff just comes in and completely takes your shine away. That might be something.
Yeah, Randy, Jeff over this, yeah.
And he does the quiet. Is it the quiet coyote? What's it called? Like the quiet coyote, roadrunner type of thing, where he tries to set a trap for like Jeff to get murdered.
And Jeff goes meet and runs away.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, so meanwhile, Shauna's kind of just in the kitchen. She's not really liking it, but she's just kind of neutral on it. Because Misty's like, what? You should be hating this. This is like, torture. And she's like, no, it's not really. Like, it's whatever. I like cook all the time.
I feel like, too, she didn't want to give, like, Misty the satisfaction that, like...
Yeah.
I'm not saying she did actually hate it, but she didn't want to give Misty, like, the sense that she hated it. She didn't want to let Misty win that battle.
Yeah, and Misty's, like, again, like, demanding an apology. And Shauna does the whole thing of, like, I'm sorry you think you deserve to be said sorry to, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And again, this is from Shauna, because Shauna got proof that Misty did not sabotage her brakes.
Yeah.
But she still just, like, refuses to believe that Misty isn't behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And funny, we got a scene that was kind of Dexter-like, where in Dexter, there's a couple scenes where, like, he'll, like, freak the fuck out, but, like, then it just, like, it cuts to, like, that was in his head. Okay. The whole thing with Dexter, like, obviously, is, like, a serial killer, but he has to, like, pretend to be normal.
Yeah.
Whenever something bad happens, he'll just, like, he'll, like, fucking, like, snap somebody's neck, like, suddenly, but then it, like, cuts to, like, that was just in his head and what he wants to do.
So, yeah, this is the same thing here.
Yeah, where Misty fucking grabs a knife and just, like, stabs Shauna. But then it just cuts to, like, that was in her head, and that's just what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, don't really like this. Is just played off as, like, comedic. It kind of just makes Misty seem, like, even more, like, pathetic.
Very much so.
But, yeah, Misty storms off and goes home. And Shauna goes into, like, the freezer for something, but then the freezer, like, shuts and locks, and obviously somebody, like, locked her in there.
Yeah.
That's implied.
Yeah.
And Shauna presumably was in there for like hours, and she starts seeing the ghost of Jackie. I like that. Again, we saw her actress last episode in like the Vision. I'm glad they brought her back again.
Yeah, it was something fully involved in Shauna, which was good.
Yeah, I like that. She's been dead for like 2 seasons now, but I like that they're still bringing in the actress for like scenes like this.
Yeah, I'm wondering too. Next season, like, she'll come back. Again, it's the last season, and there'll be like a wrap-up.
I hope so.
Be weird not to put her in the last season. You've done 3 seasons already, so why not just do a 4th?
Funny enough, actually, I didn't know this, but I think her name is like Ella Purnell or something. Like, she's actually a pretty big actress outside of this.
Yeah,
like she's the main character in the Fallout TV show.
Yeah, I think YellowJackets got her not a star, but it made her bigger, and then Fallout was afterwards, type of thing.
But yeah, I was just saying, like, it's kind of cool. Like, I'm sure the other actors are doing stuff outside of YellowJackets, but like Jackie's actress is the only one like I've heard about outside of YellowJackets.
Yeah. Well, Rose from 2.5.
Well, I mean, we're not counting 2.5 Men, which ended like a decade ago.
That's fair.
Yeah. And obviously, fucking Elijah Wood. That's cheating.
Well, and the fact that he's been the fact that I mean, yeah, he this past couple episodes he hasn't gotten a lunch break this time around. So
Yeah, no, he's been busy. And actually, funny enough, I haven't actually seen Elijah Wood in anything like recently at all.
he's in a movie called The Monkey for like one scene, which is really funny.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. I'm sure that was the fucking highlight of his career.
I'm just saying it's really funny because like it seems like he's like a really famous actor, but like the roles he's gotten lately, he's been like not in them. Like it's like
That reminds me of not the voice James Earl Jones, but like the guy who was in the Darth Vader costume, like the body actor.
yeah.
He's his favorite role wasn't Darth Vader. It was when he was like Traffic Man. He did a bunch of PAs, like teaching kids to like look both ways, before crossing the street and shit like that.
That's funny.
Yeah, which I mean, very sweet. That like that's what he like took pride in. But it's kind of funny. It's very obscure.
Yeah. But anyhow, let's talk about Jackie coming back.
Yeah, and she's kind of like mocking Shauna, saying how like, oh, right, this is kind of what you deserve. Like you'll be forgotten and frozen just like I was.
Mm-hmm.
And how like I like how since this is like Shauna's subconscious. Jackie points out that like you're just like you're not actually doing anything. You're just hurling accusations around.
Yeah, and that's tied in.
I kind of is aware of the fact that like she's just kind of hurling accusations at people.
Yeah, and that's tied in very well to the episode because that's what she was doing the trial.
Yeah, and I like how like Shauna with again with her subconscious doesn't feel guilty about stuff that happened in the past. Like, because she says like, you don't feel guilty like you like what you feel bad about isn't what happened in the wilderness. It's what happened after.
Yeah.
When you got back, you didn't. When I was gone, did you finally become the person you wanted to be? But no, you just became this like pathetic version of yourself.
I really like that, yeah, because that's
it ties in well with the Ben thing, where she got Ben. She's the reason Ben got found guilty.
Yep.
And she's just saying here she doesn't feel guilty about that. She feels bad that like she didn't become the person she wanted to become.
Yeah, and I hope we get like more on that. I guess because obviously
when Jackie comes back to, obviously she feels bad about what happened with Jackie, but it feels more so like less about that Jackie died, but more so that like when Jackie did finally die, she didn't become the person she wanted to be.
Yeah, she kind of stayed in the background.
Like, I feel like if Jackie died and Shauna became her ideal version, she would feel less guilty about what happened with Jackie.
I agree.
Yeah. So extra fucked up. But yeah, eventually Shauna bangs on the door and like screams enough that Randy comes into the kitchen and unlocks her. And she's like, "Oh my God, Shauna, what the hell are you doing in there?" But Shauna like ignores him and like immediately goes to the reception desk.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, "Excuse me, where the hell is Misty? She locked me in your freezer." And the receptionist is like, "Misty went home like hours ago."
Yeah, they showed that like earlier, which was good.
Yeah. So again, it's kind of another thing of like, Shauna, you literally cannot blame Misty for this.
Yeah.
So I'm curious of what this character from this.
I really like this. I really liked the Shauna plot. It's just so weird how Shauna's plot line now in the present's the highlight of the whole fucking present now, which that wasn't the case like back in season 1. It was like she was like the weakest. So.
But that night, Jeff gets home and he's in a good mood. He had a good day. He felt like he really made a difference, and the old people really liked him. And Shauna brought home a cat that looked just like the one on the missing poster. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "God, you found it?" Because Shauna said like she like drove around the whole like all of New Jersey, like looking for this cat. And Shauna's like, "No, that cat died." like this one looks exactly like the one they lost, so we'll just turn in this one.
Yeah, I do like that Jeff kind of calls around on it, but says like, "You're gonna do your karma by lying to the people that you found their cat."
Yeah, I was gonna say that like again, kind of showing the difference between Jeff and Shauna, where Jeff is like, obviously it's like goofy that he legitimately thinks like karma is like out to get him, mm-hmm. and like that he thinks he can, like make up for the murder by like volunteering at the old person home. But, like, at least he's trying, like, he's legitimately trying to not cheat the system or whatever. Like, he's legitimately trying to do good. Like, he legitimately feels bad and he wants to do legitimate good.
Yeah.
where Shauna is just like is so wrapped up in her own bullshit. You know, like she doesn't feel bad about other people's stuff. She feels bad about like herself.
Yeah.
And she's gonna like bring like she's lying about finding their cat essentially, and like is just finding a cat that looks just like theirs.
But this was a decent end to Shauna's plot. Kind of goofy ways, but I think with the way the episode was structured, this scene that you're talking about was right after Ben's speech, and then the scene with Van and Thaisa in New York. I think they wanted to have some like positivity a little bit because Ben's speech was so powerful and everything like that. They wanted to let that breathe.
Jeff kind of calls out Sean on that of like, so you're gonna just lie to these people about finding their cat. But then Jeff doesn't really follow up on it. He's like, hey, the cat does look a lot like it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I don't know. The last time, it was a really good moment where Jeff, like, was still mad at Shauna, and then, he left the room.
Yeah.
We didn't really get a follow-up to that. And also, like, I don't like that Jeff kind of played it off as a joke after he called Shauna out. He was like, I like it.
Yeah, I wish I wish Jeff would have actually
stuck to it. I really fucked up Shauna.
Yeah.
Again, they're kind of building towards it where Jeff is gonna like have a full on like Shauna, you're fucked up.
Yeah.
Like you're a bad person.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping they build towards that because that seems to be the case. But yeah, I don't really like they played it off as a joke at the very end.
Right. And again, I feel like they did it that way because we had the Ben speech after this, so they wanted to have like a jokey moment in the episode.
Yeah.
And
but again, I am hoping and building towards like Jeff having a falling out with Shauna.
Me too. Overall, Shauna's plot line was pretty good. It's probably the weakest that Shauna's plot line has been in the present, but it was still fine.
Yeah. And then the final thing, very quick. Like you said, Lottie was at a hotel. Thaisa gave her a call. She was like, oh my God, it's so crazy. I'm losing you. I'm in a tunnel. Or like, hello, you reached Lottie's voicemail. I'm not here right now,
Yep. Again, she had a one conversation with Natalie this year already. She doesn't need to have another one.
Yep. She's like, sorry, Thaisa, I get my quota. I will talk to myself in the mirror, though. And then she's, like, trying to rehearse, like, an apology of, like, I know I hurt you. Like, I know I hurt you. I know I hurt you. Presumably for Shauna, I guess?
That's what I was thinking.
Like, she's apologizing to Shauna. Yeah, that's it. And this is our last scene of Lottie, I guess.
Right.
Because Misty goes home. Oh my God, Owen. Elijah Wood's back. He sent the fucking text message. Oh my God, Elijah Wood, you're back.
No, Epsilon. Not Epsilon. What's his name? Sigma.
Epsilon. Fucking, yeah, Sigma. Fucking Sigma sent him that's a fucking not even close, Owen, but sure.
It happens. But yeah, Sigma.
Yeah. Yeah, Sigma. Sigma sends him a fucking Misty a text message of like, so fucking, okay, so this has to be a fake out or something, right?
I hope so.
Because there's no fucking way. Lottie has been a major character since season fucking 1. There is no fucking way they're revealing this through fucking Elijah Wood sending Misty a fucking text message. So Elijah Wood, Sigma, the guy, fucking Frodo, sends Misty a goddamn text message saying, hey, sorry for your loss about Lottie. No, he doesn't say for your loss. He says, sorry about Lottie.
Yep.
And Misty, what? And she goes on fucking Reddit to look up what happened. And apparently Lottie has been found fucking dead.
Yep.
And we cut to the crime scene where Lottie is at the bottom of a flight of stairs, just like lying there lifeless. And the cops are there. It's a crime scene. And so Lottie is dead, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't really know how to feel about this when I saw it because it was so shocking, but I don't understand why this happened because, one, it makes me question what was the point of Lottie at all because she really hasn't done anything in the present. They had a cult. The only really interesting thing she did was that, like, thing with the fake therapist. And you know, as you know, I haven't been very quiet. I haven't been the biggest present day Lottie fan, and then it makes me question. Okay, you want to have present day Lottie? Why didn't you just kill Lottie off in the hunt if you're going to kill her off? Because she came back here if you think about it, she's only in like maybe like what 2 episodes, 2.25 of an episodes because she wasn't in the first episode of season 3, and then she was in the other 2, and then here. I feel like this can't be real.
You know, going present Lottie, like past Lottie has been in the show since episode 1.
Yeah.
Like this is a long-term character, and it's like I'm fine with Lottie dying, but like
not this
having
way.
it be fucking like cliffhanger of episode 4.
Yeah.
And it's like again, find out because Misty got a fucking text message. Like really?
Especially too because there's so much stuff on the table with Lottie. Like, what is she? What is the relationship like with Callie?
The whole thing with Callie. Again, what the fuck happened to her cult? They're gone.
Yeah.
And again, I'm like that. Like it has to be fake. There's no way she's actually dead. If she's actually dead, that's fucking horrible.
What a horrible way to end a character off, and just a horrible way to end an episode. Really
disappointing end for a character who's been in the show for a long time.
Yeah.
And like revealing it this way is so dumb.
Yeah.
And like there's so much, and at this point in the show, you know, so like everything about this is wrong.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
if she is actually dead, I'm guessing it's be like a murder mystery of like, oh my god, who killed Lottie? But like, I don't trust you, YellowJackets, because you fucked up with Travis.
Yeah, you did. So, yeah, all of this was wrong. I feel like, it's also gonna, luckily it hasn't happened with Natalie in the past, because Natalie's in the past, but now it's gonna ruin, like, Lottie's role in the past type of thing, because...
It also gets weird, because, like, Lottie was in this episode for, like, 2 minutes, if that.
And you watch it back, you can't even tell...
Lottie died. Do an episode where Lottie's, like, a main focus.
Yeah, so... yeah, this was dumb if it's a death. If it's a cop-out, again, why do a
Then that's dumb, but, like, I mean, at least I'll take it, because, Lottie will still be in the show.
But again, why are we doing this? What is Lottie's plan? And again, I feel like they just wanted to have a moment in the present, because the present hasn't been anything all significant, so they wanted to have a significant moment in the present. This was a bit of a reach. You didn't really need to end it here. The thing with Ben being found guilty would have been a fine enough ending in this fucking episode. Yeah. That actually that would have gotten people talking, and probably not as much as this, but like talking like what I feel like that takes the shine off of like Ben, like his fate and everything like that.
Yeah, random, like I feel like it just takes away from like the Ben stuff.
Yeah, and we don't, and you know how AJ and I feel about Ben. We don't want anything taken away from Ben stuff. We want Ben.
Yeah. So again, can't be too quick to judge.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we fucking love the reason Lottie died, revealing it this way is so dumb. But for now, I'm gonna give this episode an A-. But it is subject to change based on what they do with Lottie.
So,
actually, you know what? I'll give it an A. An A.
Okay.
The past stuff amazing, perfect, wouldn't change it. The present's really weak, so I can't give it an A+, but I will give it an A because the past fucking hard carries.
I agree.
But
I give it an A.
Again, if the Lottie thing sucks, I might have to lower it to an A- or even a B+. But for now, it's an A.
I agree, an A. The past is fantastic, really carries it. The only thing really worth watching the present is probably the Shauna plot line, maybe.
It's fine. It's it's not bad. It's not amazing. It's serviceable. The Tyson Van plot sucks, but I mean you could say that about like literally everything.
Honestly, I would say the only thing in the present worth watching Shauna related is that scene with her and Jackie in the freezer, probably. Actually,
stuff.
Yeah, that's true. The Jeff stuff and Randy. You gotta see Randy. Yep.
And again, the Tyson Van plot sucks, but you could say that about like the entire show. Tyson's plots always are bad.
And then
yeah, Lottie. in this episode for fucking like a minute, and then she died, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
I would love it if she just fucking like slipped on a banana peel and fell down the flight of stairs.
Would you still stick it with an A? Would you still stay with an A? If that...
A triple S.
Oh, triple S. That's awesome. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We did episode 4. So what do you think? Do you think Ben's done next episode? I think so.
Yeah, I think Ben's gonna kick the bucket next episode. Is my guess. I'm guessing that's gonna be like the cliffhanger of that episode.
Please hope. Yeah. Because I think AJ said this. The one we're worried about is he's gonna get Mr. We don't want him to get Mr. Mustached, where he did so well up until like the last 2 minutes of like.
Yeah, like you were at the finish line and then he fucked it up. Like, come on, please let Ben die with grace, or not grace, but like let the wrap up in a good way, and then we can give a send off to our favorite character.
I know. I really don't want to. Honestly, I think it's because if Ben's death doesn't get what we want, like I really want to come on here. I feel like that's gonna hurt us more than like Lottie's or like Natalie's or.
So good this whole time. You're almost at the end. Just fucking kill him in a good way, and then we're good.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it, guys. We have some other videos coming up. We're gonna do episode 5 of YellowJackets, and then we're gonna do Kiss Sis. I tried to let AJ off the hook for that for his birthday, but he.
Oh, birthday tradition. We got to do
it. 1 month later, literally. And then we're gonna do Dragon Ball Saturday probably, because I don't think I can do Sunday.
Yeah, episode 5 and 6, I believe. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're gonna check YellowJackets, and we're planning on doing Star Wars Empire Strikes Back sometime this month, probably soon, before we finish YellowJackets.
Yep. And that's pretty much it, guys, and we will talk to you guys later.